Our spiritual vitamin today out of Haggai. Haggai, the letter, the book by the minor prophet Haggai, chapter 1, verse 5 through 7, if I could read. Now this is what the Lord Almighty says. Give careful thought to your ways. You have planted much, but have harvested little. You eat, but never have enough. You drink, but never have your fill. You put on clothes, but are not warm. You earn wages only to put them in a purse with holes in it. This is what the Lord Almighty says. Give careful thought to your ways. In another version, it says, consider your ways. I want to talk and address from this particular passage this thought: keep your priorities straight. Keep your priorities straight. Here we find God's people. We find God's people after having been swept away by events too powerful for them to overcome, now making their way back to their home. For you see, for 18 years they had been in bondage to their oppressors, the Babylonians. And now with the rise of a new leader, they are given an opportunity to get their lives back together. And if the truth be told, most of us can relate to their plight. Like them, many of us have had our lives swept away and forever changed by the events of the last few years. Home foreclosures, failing banks, and shady financial dealings have left most of us reeling, trying to find a way to get our feet back under us. It was during this time, beloved, that Cyrus of Persia became king, and he provides some relief by allowing a remnant to return to their devastated homeland. Well, you see, sometimes that's what a change in leadership can do. Sometimes that's what a change in leadership can do. It can bring about a much-needed change of direction. Well, during their years of exile, the once fertile fields of their homeland had now become overgrown with weeds and briars. Houses had fallen into ruin, and orchards and vineyards had died. And those who were returning was facing the stark reality that getting their lives back together was not going to be an easy task. In fact, it was going to take commitment and a lot of hard work. That was to say, it was going to take everything they had and then some. And like them, my brothers and sisters, your situation may be bad right now because of everything that has happened. But I want to let you know it can change. If you make the commitment, it can change. No matter how adversely you've been affected by the events of the past few years, if you make the commitment, it can change. Even if you've been living from paycheck to paycheck, you need to understand that it's not a problem for a God who can do anything but fail. All you need to do is make the commitment, and I declare it can change. Now you might say, how can that be? Well, let's look at the characters in our spiritual vitamin. The record shows enthusiastically they return home, and in the zeal of that enthusiasm, a foundation for a new church had been laid. But soon that enthusiasm was worn away by the pressures and worries of day-to-day survival. The focus of the community shifted from putting God first to putting their own needs first. Are you hearing me? Maybe, just maybe, this is the reason our communities are failing. The focus has shifted into the wrong direction. Instead of recreation centers, we focus on building more detention centers. Instead of better law enforcement, we see bitter law enforcement. The focus has shifted. The words of Matthew 6:33 resonate in my spirit. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, and all things shall be added to you. These words had not been given to them yet, but it has been given to us. And if we want to experience God's best, even during down times, we must keep our priorities straight and continue to keep God in the midst. The record shows for years they struggled to reestablish themselves. Not unlike us, high unemployment, corporate consolidation, low wages, high energy prices. But no matter how hard they tried, they seemed unable to make any significant progress. Every step forward seemed matched by two backward. And so it was here that Haggai steps into the picture and helps them refocus. And you might ask, how does he accomplish this? Take a close look at what's revealed in verse 6. He says, you have sown much and bring in little. You eat, but you do not have enough. You drink, but you're not filled with drink. You clothe yourselves, but no one is warm, and you earn wages, and your wages are put into a bag with holes. Consider your ways. Give thought, careful thought, to your ways. In other words, he was saying the reason you have been struggling is you have gotten your priorities mixed up. Yes, you've been working hard and have not seemed to be making any, if little, progress. And the reason is your priorities are not in the right place. Beloved, I hope you hear me. Haggai had just 3 questions for them in retrospect, and I'm going to leave them with you. First, had all of it worked? Second, are you really better off than you were before? And most importantly, has setting God aside helped you get ahead? Now, although his words were blunt and they cut like a knife, they can be a source of direction and encouragement for each of us today. Don't allow what you may be currently going through to be the cause of your setting aside the one who can help you most. Keep your priorities straight. If you want to experience God's best, keep your priorities straight. Blessings will await you, favor will accompany you, and God's best will engulf you if you just keep your priorities straight.
How can I say thanks?
Heaven, good morning, caller.
Good morning, Pastor Michael. How are you this morning?
Blessed as always, thanking God for the word, reminding me of the importance of having my priorities straight.
And I know that's right. And when we don't have our priorities straight, Pastor Michael, it seems like everything in our life goes haywire.
You can say that again. Say that again.
It seems like everything in our life goes haywire. It seems as though when we take our eyes off the dream, I'm not going to say the prize, the dream.
Yeah.
When we take our eyes off of it, everything that you can imagine can go wrong.
Yes.
But I thank God for allowing me to go through the process of not having my priorities together, but then he gave me the process to get my priorities together. And once I got them together, I trust God in everything that I do. In spite of what the devil means for my evil, God turns it around for my good.